The terminals in the botanical arena constantly analyzing specimen growth data even while we are in rest mode. In other words, even on the way, I should be getting stuff built up in the botanical arena. Remember to stop by and collect this data when you have some spare time. It will be useful for us. If we invest some resources in these terminals, we can increase their capacity and production. We were still on Earth when I had some time to talk with Nicole about the challenges of growing plants outside Earth's atmosphere. Some things were obvious, even to me, like light, temperature, and soil quality. Nicole was concerned about the gravitational difference. These are experiments impossible to conduct in a lab. Ideally, we would run some tests in less oppressive conditions with the possibility of returning to safety if our resources ran low. Any major failure during the expedition would endanger the lives of everyone aboard. Nicole was always anxious, with good reason. Hello and welcome everyone, I'm C.S.Gilmore, and this... right, let's get that data, only 1,000. I really should upgrade this more when I have the chance. But, this is Miro. Alright, yeah, I have to get a lot of work done here. Let's see, we are going to continue with our lives, which is, our goal is, current objective, acquire a lead plate delta cluster. So we're skipping gamma cluster, since it doesn't look like it really has much new stuff for us. And we're heading to delta cluster. Available resources: lead plate, motherboard, mobile transmitter, optical cable, encrypted data, microchip stabilizers. So we go to Kumsi or Thalkulu. I like Thalkulu. What's up?
What is it supposed to be?
I mean, that's what I was doing.
No, because he had it like this. So what if it was closer to what the bolt was?
I don't think it fit. Sorry, we were trying to deal with issue with our swing set not being stable. What's this? During the preparation time still on Earth, I had little contact with a team of space engineers. I became very close to other scientists. We were focused on how we would survive this journey. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I think I need to get a better lug nut and bolt system for it.
Try tomorrow.
Cool. Sleep tight.
Well, I just wanted to, because I was just laying there about
Yeah.
to fall asleep.
I took a look at it, and when I was trying to initially, I had tried to see what I could fit, and I think the second ring-in couldn't go close enough because of the size of the way it has to fit around. Yeah, so we have a swing set, and we're trying to set up extra cables to hold it down, because when the kids swing, it lifts off the ground a bit. If they get too rambunctious, and kids being kids, that happens a lot. Kitties, please stop knocking everything off tables. Alright, where was I? On how we would survive the journey. Some of these scientists you've already heard me mention. You've even encountered the results of their work on your journey. Miro created worker drones linked to Miro's system. Brian was the biologist who would analyze any forms of life found along the way. Nicole, the botanist, responsible for cultivating plant life outside Earth's atmosphere. Camillo came to design any structures that would be necessary during the expedition. The plan was for the knowledge of the best scientists to be concentrated in a single source of shared knowledge, Miro. That was my responsibility. Yes, gathered all in one place, where it can all be destroyed. But also, yeah, it makes sense, because then they could actually work with it. Alright, something over there. This is the bike we repaired. Oh, it comes with a built-in compass. That's kind of cool. I like that feature. Or if the battery on this thing lasts more than 3 seconds. Hill. I can make it up the hill. Yes. Oh, hello. What's this? Whoa, okay. Was not expecting this much air with that. Yep, minor threat detected. Yep. You're all seeing this too, right? Weird lasers into the air. Yeah? Alright, let's, here. Whoa. Okay, that's awkward. Drop my shotgun, because I think it is better than my other options. Oh, what? Did that just come down and hit me? Did I run into that? Or is that something else that hit me? Do I have to watch out for these guns? Do the guns shoot me? That's a question I should probably consider. We will very carefully step outside. It's no wonder this planet is completely polluted. We're extracting all possible resources from it and dumping waste directly into the atmosphere. But looking on the bright side, it's quite likely that we'll find the necessary resources in this deposit. The probability is 13.76%. Considering the size of the universe, that's quite high. Okay, so we're basically doing a strip mining setup, and I don't like how these guns are aiming in my direction. So we're disabling them. Nope. Oh dear. Almost died. Come on. Grab it. Here. Miss me. Why am I having so much trouble grabbing a basic resource? Ugh! Optical cable. Grab. Yeah, I see you, see me. So there. There we go. One down. Stabilizers. Alright. Okay, you dropped it. I'll worry about grabbing resources after I disable all the murders. One more to go. So there. Okay. Oh, I forgot we had in-air pulse jumps now, or whatever it was. So many things that we've collected over time as we've run around this place and unlocked research. Yeah, that's actually really handy for speedy movement. Ah. Okay, it's a little harder to control it though. Really easy to just go shoot myself into space. Or really far forward anyway. Alright, I think that's good enough. Let's check out inside this place now that we've cleared it of all the hostile things, hopefully. Thinking about it, it makes sense that some planets were chosen to be resource sources. That's how humanity has always operated. Even back on planet Earth, richer regions always exploited poorer ones, extracting their resources and leaving only waste behind. The price of progress, you might say. Only those living in privileged places would be upset by this realization. So yeah, so this planet was basically just turned into a mining outfit. Got it. Anything good up here? I don't see anything. Nothing in here. Really wish I had a flashlight or something. I don't recall having one though, so we'll live with it. There's a door over here, as I recall. Any murder bots in here? Pile of useless stuff. I needed. Stabilizers, not what I wanted either. This is a well-reinforced lead plate. It's ideal for repairing Miro's reactor. Return to orbit as soon as possible. Okay, that is not what I thought lead plates would look like, but alright. I'm not going to return just this split second. I want to grab a few more of those if I can find them. Seems like these resources aren't exactly plentiful. I can't get through that window, really. Alright. We'll go out the normal way. Through the door like a real person. Whee! Also, I really do want to look around this place real quick, just while we're here, because it seems like this area has some cool-looking things, and I want to pick up a few extra resources of these various sorts if I can. Since if there are some new resources here, I should grab at least a few so I can multiply them and work with them and all that. Microchip, trees, data. Also, now that I know the value of data, I really should grab more of that. All that good stuff. Alright, we got something over there. Let's take a look at it. Okay, my repaired hover bike is way better than the ones I find just lying around. One, because so far it's lasted way longer. Has the built-in compass, which is really handy for finding locations. And I get the general sense that it, overall just, like, it seems to climb hills and everything better, unless I'm very much mistaken. Cool, so what's the purpose of having a raised bridge location if there's no way onto it? Because that sure looks like what we're dealing with here is a raised structure. Okay. Grab. I need to raid this place for anything useful. The encrypted data will actually be super good, because even if I find only a few of these things, I should be able to multiply the other stuff. At least some of the other stuff. What the? Ooh. Core chip. But, gold one. Manage upgrade. Manage core chip. Wait. Did it just auto-equip it? It says active core chip. Oh, I can see why. That is a lot of pluses on reinforced joints and spring boots. Light carbon suit. Yeah, okay. Worth it. So gold is super good. I am very happy we stumbled across that. Work like it used to. Yeah. Okay, let's climb this ladder and see if we can get up above this area. Because I am really curious if... no, even that tower doesn't go high enough. Seriously, why was there a giant road partly installed here if there's no actual way to get into it? There we go. Ooh, that looks... Did I have one of those before? Mobile transmitter. Apologies if I don't remember a few of these items, just because I haven't played in a little bit. I've been a little obsessed with Clair Obscur. That game is amazing. Cinematic masterpiece. Musical masterpiece. Overall, fun to play. Oh, there is a way onto it. Sort of. Why does this feel like a launch ramp? Okay, let me go get my vehicle. Where did I park? Alright, do that so I don't get hurt. Can my vehicle even get onto this thing, though? Oh, it does look like it levels. Okay. Minor threat detected. I think a little velociraptor looking thing that I saw a few in passing. Anyway, I'm curious what this will look like once we go up it. But really, why have a partial road built in here? What are you cats doing? I don't know if you even heard that. The cat skidding along the ground. Because apparently that's what it was felt like doing. Yeah, they just have a bunch of partially constructed roads everywhere here. Kitty, it's not even midnight. Why do you have the zoomies? Can't live with them. Yeah, just can't live with them. Got them causing trouble. I love this hover bike so much better than than the bikes you can find. I really hope the battery on this thing doesn't just die on me at some point. I'm guessing it comes with me everywhere I like. Anytime I launch off and come back, I probably don't need to personally take it. Okay, let's test something. Are you the threats? Or are you just weird looking? Yeah, you're just weird looking. Little compy thing. Oh, you are trying to bite me. Okay. Oh, ow. Alright. That one had a frill. Interesting. Alright. So, it is the little compy things. Ah. Guess they try to get me with numbers rather than... Otherwise, how do I heal again? It's been a while since I played... Where's it all coming from? Also, why do you all keep making the cute little chirp noises? Like, making me feel bad for blasting you into oblivion. Ooh, last time we found one of these places, we got a new gun. Yep, once again, bunch of robots flying around down below. Okay, basic supplies flying around. In your stuff. Nice labyrinth. Would be a lot more of a problem if I couldn't just jump over it. And bypass it as needed. But for now, I'm just down here to clear it out so I don't have to worry about being ambushed. What is that? Card? Yeah, probably didn't need that. Alright, I know there's more of you. There we go. 4-chip green. Probably not as good as the one I have. Still pretty good. But, let's get rid of some of these lesser ones, just so I don't take it wrong. There we go. Alright, where do I power this place? Last time the power station was like right over here. But I don't see it here this time, so I'm guessing it's somewhere else. Why is it getting darker inside the warehouse? Ah, here we go. Yes, I'm trying to do just that. Oh, come on. Why is it so hard to put a battery in? Needs a battery, yes. There we go. Should not be that hard to put a battery in. Okay. Time to check out for goodies. Last time it was just lying in here, and I grabbed it without even realizing what it was. Obviously, it looked like a grabable, and I did. Alright, good supply cluster. I don't see any new weapons, though, so I'm guessing either none in here, or maybe just it was supplies. What about over here, then? Ooh, another one of those. Don't see too many of the mobile plants, it feels like. Is there something here? Now it's microwaves. I forgot those were a thing. They're so little and easy to miss in this dark warehouse. I don't think I had a flashlight, or if I do, I don't remember how to use it. Fine. Now that kind of worked. Oh, it did get dark here. Okay. Why can't I see anything? This isn't just normal darkness, this is advanced darkness. Where did I park? Nope, nobody. I think I parked over this direction. I do like that they put different planetary effects. That's cool. Pretty sky for something, for being so weirdly cloudy and dark down here. I can see the sky really well. Alright. Where's another good spot to check real quick before we move on? Shall we go up here and get a bit of a view? Yeah. Minor threats. All over the place. Got it. You get a minor threat. You get a minor threat. Everybody gets minor threats. Another warehouse. So this is the warehouse plan. Got it. Can we go in here and maybe not be blinded by everything? Oh well, I'll raid this last warehouse and then I think it's time for us to leave this planet. Or if the green card I have works for here too. Like it does. Yeah, good stuff. Another good. What the? What the? Why did I just take damage? Where am I taking damage from? Heal. That was weird. I'm not sure what hit me in there. Perfect. Alright. New resources. Can we get one of everything new? I'm trying to remember how many new resources were on this planet. Not too bad. I'm leaving. Don't even need to light this place up. Well, lighting this place up is a relative term? Sort of accurate term. Hello, what are you? Okay, let's see what this weird looking thing is. Pretty sure this is good. It feels like every planet has a threat and then a... That is a giant butterfly. Okay. And then like just some flyer and some larger... Actually, we haven't seen any larger dinosaur critters or anything in this area. Let's get up on the hill, see if anything else cool and unusual that we haven't seen yet comes into view. Not really. Possible, but I don't like this darkness. So, I think we got what we came for. Let's get out of here and go repair ourselves a reactor of somehow damaged nature. Kind of really wonder what exactly happened that caused us to get so damaged everywhere. Led to one of our people uploading themselves into the AI, or becoming an AI. And several other issues. There's my drop pod, okay. Whee! Get me out of here! Receive data 700. Data from that planet. I guess we didn't get all the data we could have, and that may result us needing to go down there again, or to a different planet to get more data anyway, depending on what we need it for. While we were preparing the expedition, the atmosphere among the teams was relatively calm, but there was a sense of competition in the air. The engineers, from missing company names, seemed to always avoid contact with the newly hired members of the expedition's scientific team. At the time, I didn't fully notice, but it was as if they were instructed to interact with us as little as possible. So, did we have, like, company corporate sabotage issues or something? I'm gaining some definite sense of corporate sabotage issues. Alright. We got everything here. You're done. You're done. Resource container, spring boots. I don't know what that key symbol is. Have not got one of those though. Improved barrel. Sure. Projectile speed when using the taser. Sick. Overbite control module. That sounds good. It improves control. Yes, please. Compensator. Reduces recoil. More reduced recoil. How did I not have a bunch of these already, or did more stuff get unlocked? Because it feels like I should have had some of this stuff already. All the hover bike upgrades. Maybe it's because, maybe this did unlock some new stuff because we got the hover bike unlocked. I don't think I checked this board after I repaired the hover bike. I'll have to remember that. Maybe there is a tie-in to unlocking certain items and then unlocking new tech as a result. That means some of this stuff actually isn't travel resources. Okay, those are just things to unlock because they're item resources they're renewable. Extra data. Do I know? Do lead plates not show up here? Maybe the lead plate is purely story element. Yeah, I don't see where that. But let's get a few more of these because I don't like to be low on resources. That's enough of that. Back to checking our designs. Alright, check. Teaser heat sinks. Excellent. Make my weapons all better. Improved coil. Oh no, not making my weapons even more deadly. How do we not have all this equipment already, though, is part of one of my questions. Spring boots. Strength reduces fall impact. Excellent. More of that. Ooh. Improved barrel stuff. A lot here. Okay. Increases projectile speed when using the taser. That could actually be really good in a number of circumstances. Yeah, alright, alright. And one more. Battery, nothing new there. Nothing new there. Nothing new there. Nothing new there. Alright. We got all those unlocks taken care of. Guess we go repair our screwed up generator issues now, right? I believe it was down here. If we invest data in the medical wing terminal, we can enhance your suit's resistance against the challenges of our adventure. An initial upgrade should be easily attained with a small amount of data. An upgrade could be the difference between life and death when we don't know what lies ahead. I think I already did some of that last time I found the medical wing. I don't actually remember where the medical wing is right now. But for now, we're in here. Initializing, allocating. Yep, okay, I'm guessing that means we did it. And why are we back here now? So, okay. Alright, I think this should solve the problem, in a way. I expected something more complex considering this is what caused the system's blackout. Let's move forward. We finally managed to unlock the main doors. You should be able to fully explore Miro's interior. Right. Where have I not explored yet? We already went all the way these places, right? Yeah. There was the area past the reactor. I do need to check that. To improve your vehicle's performance at the science terminal, it will be possible to increase its maximum speed and steering control by combining the right materials. Beat you to it. Already did that. Let me grab extra data from here real quick. Don't forget. Nicole and I were the only two women on the team of scientists. There were others on the missing company name team, but our interactions with them were limited. I felt that she was more comfortable when we were alone in the room. It took me a while to fully understand, but she was used to having her work questioned by male colleagues. It feels like I always have to show twice the results to get the bare minimum of attention, she once said in the cafeteria. I could only agree. After all, I had to create the world's most advanced AI to be properly recognized. Alright, grab that. Nice. That means we can check out the probably everything gone wrong place over here. There's still some pending information inside Miro. I need you to take another look around the spacecraft. Yeah, there's a few spots here that could be interesting. Okay, here was the medical area, right? Yeah, we've been here. Camillo, especially Hayat Hoffman. While we were still on Earth, the two often got into embarrassing arguments. 7 times, Camillo told me one day. 7 times he's told me that taxes are theft. We both agreed there was no way to enlighten someone so convinced of their own opinions. But unlike me, Camillo was extremely persistent. Many times, these arguments were our only entertainment for weeks. I mean, I understand the purpose of taxes, but they have limitations on when they are good and when they go overboard. Courtship. Ah, that's what's going on. Why was this here and how did I miss it? Like, they have to be balanced out and actually, be giving something back. Increase vessel's damage resistance. We are so a robot, aren't we? We have to be at this point. I think that has to be the answer. We're like actually a robotic extension of the lady who's become the AI. Are we on the outside? No, we're in the crowd. Okay. I wondered because it said in orbit for a second there. Being here gives me a certain discouragement. It's strange. I knew the cryogenic chambers were no longer working, but having visual confirmation still saddens me. Everyone aboard Miro's scientific spacecraft is dead. Let's look around and see if there are any survivors. What is that? Extra charge for jumping pack. Ooh. Exploration in here was worth it. Oh, we had a lot more people in here than I thought. Here, I thought we were a teeny tiny research vessel, but this is, we got double layered extra hallway crew staff in here. Wow, okay, we had a lot of people. Everything's looking redlined. Yeah. I don't see anything green here, so probably bad signs. But I have to double check just in case. This feels like the sort of game that would do that, where it'd just be like, one of these is green. And that is going to make the difference between the rest of our journey or something like that. Having a purpose of a certain sort. Alright, those are all red. All red. No more items on the ground. Guess they didn't want to give me too many jump bonuses and other things. This is one of the repair drones of the spaceship. I was able to reactivate them after fixing the reactor. They help us keep the interior of the spaceship clean and organized. Alright, as long as they don't start replicating themselves indefinitely, because they look very much like replicators from Stargate SG-1. Or also if they don't, start attacking me. Issues like that. I have a general issue of overall distrust of spiderish robots. But I guess it's not a spider type, it only has 4 legs. What would be the right word for that? But if we were to moderately self-sufficient robotic like that, hard to trust. Okay, let's go back down to the reactor area and check that door beyond the reactor now. We were in the process of mental scanning. Nicole seemed nervous, more than usual. The results of her sessions almost always had some corruption. Corruption was the term used when someone got distracted and sent irrelevant information to the session's topics. This generated useless data fragments because they created connections between unrelated knowledge. For example, the fear of walking alone at night couldn't be related to the process of genetically modifying lettuce to withstand sub-zero temperatures. Nicole was the first to undergo the process, so Arda concluded that this behavior might be linked to some hormonal imbalance. He was terribly mistaken. When he initiated the process with one of the engineers, a missing company name, the data was even more unstable. Due to his constant mental exhaustion, we were all vulnerable in some way. In other words, human variables, mental straying thoughts, cause scanning to be weird. Got it. Cool. The construction of the spaceship was rather rushed. We had little time. It was a colossal project. One of the cuts made was the engines. I know, yet another stupid idea. They worked for our takeoff from planet Earth. They were then supposed to use solar radiation to transport us through space. But they're not capable of sustaining a descent onto another planet. If we're caught by any gravitational field, we'll be pulled down without any resistance. So, last hope of Earth, rushed project, and they couldn't bother to do it right. Even though it's obviously important enough that they felt they had to do it really well. Alright, micrometal and digital key. I have no idea what digital keys are. That's something I need to find still. But I need more micrometals to repair whatever this is. That seems important for probably general survival and story reasons. In here, this feels like it would be a really unsafe place for me to wander around like this, but okay. Little bot, are you having trouble? Yep, Okay, so we got one repair thing down here to work. Noted. I'll come back once I figure out what these keys are. Micrometals should be easy enough to get more of, or make more of if we have to. Travel faster. I am impatient. Shortly before we departed, there was a major conference broadcast live to the rest of the world. addressed the press, explaining the expedition's objectives, showcasing the functionality of the systems, and presenting all the advancements made in recent months. Once we departed, Miro would control the expedition on its own, while the crew would be in cryogenic sleep. We would wake up as soon as the spacecraft found a habitable planet. The estimate was that something would happen within 200 years. That conference was a farewell for all members involved in the project. When we woke up, nothing we knew on Earth would still be there. There was a moment of silence, then opened the floor for journalists to ask questions. A young journalist took the microphone and asked what was the involvement with the attacks on the North Pole and why was he leaving the planet to avoid dealing with the consequences. The conference was quickly wrapped up. There was no answer. Again, a whole lot of questionable everything from this whole situation. Also, it sounds very much like Earth may be toast, especially since we've been allegedly gone a lot longer than we were supposed to be initially. Like, right off than the initial planning was. It sounds like that, right? So, if we've been gone for long and then all our crew are dead, like they sure seem to be now, are we just robots? Is that all that's left? Robotic intelligences and whatever we feeded the planets with? Which seems to be mostly dinosaurs? I'm getting a general sense that everything's screwed up. Grab it. Like, really screwed up. Anything else in here? Can I give this place a proper once-over for things I might be able to repair? Nope, no interactables. Okay. Moving on. What's my current objective? Explore freely. So in other words, keep looking around until something else comes up. Got it. Well, thing I can't fix. And then the workshop was up here. I wonder if we can get into that one room now. We were just minutes away from boarding when Camillo came over to me, asking if I had watched the conference until the end. Truthfully, I hadn't paid that much attention, but he insisted on pointing out how strange it was that one single question caused the conference to end. For me, there was only a bitter feeling that none of our work was credited to us. Something acted as if all the progress was his doing. But now, just minutes before boarding on a one-way journey, I found myself questioning the causes of the disaster that nearly wiped humanity from the face of the Earth. The boarding process was very quick. Before I knew it, I was already in my cryogenic capsule, slowly inhaling the sleeping gases. But somehow you got out. Obviously, more than one person was out at some point because they were running experiments and doing all this stuff before whatever happened. Miro was already using neural networks to control his drones. They were highly efficient at performing repetitive tasks that required great precision. For this reason, they were used to construct any structure we needed on the planet's surfaces. To ensure the proper organization and prioritization of essential projects for each planet, Jason had to replace the control of his robots with a direct communication interface with Miro. He was very reluctant about this. After all, if the connection with the ship was lost, his drones would become useless. This was exactly the opposite of his entire vision. His goal was for projects to be completed autonomously. He was ticked all the time. Yeah, okay, got it. Yep, angry person. Got it. Plans change. Some people don't deal with that well. In here now? Ooh, we can. Can't interact with that. Area down there seems questionable to me. Motherboard. Is this my, like, where my resources are allegedly being stored? Every time I pick something up? I'm wondering. It'd be funny if there was, like, boxes, more or less boxes in here, depending on that. I can't seem to interact with anything in here. That's good to know. Can I go down? Ah, there's a ladder. Should be able to. Alright, what's the purpose of that? There's probably something hidden in here, right? Come on. Where's your hidden stash? Well, there's a secret tunnel. I see it. Let me just check over in this corner real quick to be sure I didn't miss anything else. Yep, okay. We're clear. Where'd it go? Nope, maybe it wasn't. I'm pretty sure I saw a secret tunnel. Right in... Not this. No, maybe it's just weird colored floor. Huh. Oh, didn't mean to shoot myself off that way. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies in here with a whole lot of nothing to show for it. But why? Because this feels very purposeful. Like, it feels like they would have hidden something in here. I can interact with that. No, okay. Maybe there is nothing in here. Sad. Thought that was a secret tunnel, but it's just weird floor. No secret tunnels in the boxes either. Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh well. Away we go. So what's the purpose of this room if I can't do anything? Where else have I not explored? Been there, been there. All over there. And over there. That leaves whatever's up here, right? Is this a bridge? Secret tunnel? Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. Ah, a drop pod. Okay. Interesting. I mean, it makes sense that I could get in here, given that I had obviously begun to this drop pod somehow, at some point. Extra charge for jumping. Alright, more jumping. That seems to be the main reward for exploring the ship is upgrades. And another lesser chip. Alright, I think that's it here. It could be oil, but that looks strangely like blood. And maybe some other damages. Wonder if I should be concerned about that. Nah. Wow, I can jump so much now. There, that speeds up my climbing ladders. Awesome. What's in here? Secrets? The bridge. Is that a harpoon gun? Repair, advanced fabric, microchip, stabilizer, conductor. I have enough for that. Repair. Grappling hook. Do 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 do. Extra jump. Cool. I'm getting a whole lot of upgrades all at once for my jump abilities. Insert coordinates. Alright. Okay, I feel like there's a secret somewhere that this is going to involve. But how does that affect things? I'm betting there is a very specific set of coordinates I need to enter at some point in the storyline to get something. But what? Turning planetary insertion. What? Okay. So, is that just like a random seed spawner then? For a planet? Okay. That's not what I thought that would do. Oh, sick, this planet is awesome looking. Fiber. Alright, so let me get fiber from these. Yeah. This is a really cool looking planet, though. I like these. There's one detail about cryogenic sleep that we didn't know. The person is unable to dream while asleep. It's like being with your eyes closed for just a minute. So the first time I woke up aboard Miro, it felt as if no time had passed. My mind was still troubled by the last conference and the unanswered questions. I was determined to confront so about the truth, but as I recovered and left my cryogenic capsule, I noticed a commotion by one of the capsules nearby. With great effort, I got up and made my way to Ryan's capsule, our biologist. There were people around him. He was moving his arms vigorously, but it seemed he couldn't breathe. I've never taken a single first aid class. If it depended on me, Ryan would have died right there. Hoffman and his team did their job while I just watched, frozen in fear. Ryan expelled a dark red mass from his mouth, a mixture of mucus and clotted blood. His relief was immediate, as was mine. I looked around and noticed that most of the capsules were still closed. One of the engineers explained that the ship's capacity is up to 8 people awake at the same time. The rest of the crew is kept in cryogenic sleep. We were the third group to be awakened, and we had to discuss the mission's progress with so-and-so. Alright. Getting some mixed vibes for all of this still. After the incident in his capsule, Ryan was fine, but the atmosphere in the corridors was extremely tense. Walking in space was different. I was assured that the artificial gravity generators were working properly. What I felt was anxiety. When we arrived at the command bridge, my heart was the only... This was the only room with a... My heart raced. This was the only room with a view of the vast emptiness of space. Despite my worries, I was captivated. I wasn't able to hear the beginning of the speech, but something had gone terribly wrong. Miro had been unable to find a planet ready to support human life. The initial estimate was that a planet would be found within 200 years. 1,700 years had already passed. The artificial intelligence deemed their search a failure and decided to awaken the primary crew members so that new directives could be established. So-and-so had a look of defeat. No plan B had been defined. Statistically, failure should have been impossible. We did not know what to do. So that's why they started colonizing or terraforming planets to try to create something that could sustain it. After the revelation of our total failure, I was assigned to analyze the logs of the planets Miro had examined during the expedition. We had a lot of data. And indeed, no planet was ready to host a human colony, but several planets had almost ideal conditions. Many needed more water or more oxygen or less sodium. We had ignored this possibility when setting up mission parameters. We were able to alter the climate of our own planet. I was sure that with time and the collective knowledge of the team, we could transform at least one of these planets into our own new home, right? I took this possibility so-and-so, and suddenly we had a new plan. We would need as much scientific knowledge as possible transferred to Miro so it could calculate an action plan. I would have to return to cryogenic sleep so other scientists could wake up and transfer their knowledge to the database. As I prepared to enter deep sleep, it became obvious that so-and-so would take credit for this idea, but I didn't really care. The moment we landed on our new home, I'd give him a good punch in the nose. Okay, but if there's only 200 people... Oh, okay, well, I guess since they have apparently the genetic capabilities of manufacturing dinosaurs, maybe they could create enough biodiversity or genetic diversity to avoid inbreeding issues with humans. But otherwise, with only 200 people, the human race is doomed then. Otherwise. Without very careful genetic manipulation to prevent, degradation of everything, it just gets bad. With the current state of human genetics, it would not end. To terraform a planet, it was necessary to update Miro's directives. We would need to input the technical knowledge of the leading scientists on the expedition. Using controversial methods, we already had the results of practically all scientific materials ever published. Miro was our great library of information. But none of those papers would answer our questions about how to deal with an amino-rich atmosphere or how to develop plants capable of performing photosynthesis in environments with radiation much higher than on Earth. We had a single terminal with access to the processing core. We improvised a neural interface that could connect to the survival suit. I was really good at improvising. A person would put on the suit and connect to the ship's core. We were then able to scan their brain activity on the necessary topics to put the new plan into action. It was a slow and extremely tedious task for everyone involved. Okay, that still doesn't answer how you ended up being the last one to do something like that, to hook up to the core and actually straight up upload it. As one responsible for developing the system, I had to make some adjustments to Miro's functionality, a paradigm shift. As an excited CEO might say, a true out-of-the-box idea. Instead of focusing on the data input during the team's knowledge upload, Miro would focus on the synapses between new information and pre-existing data in the system. We tried to replicate the human process of establishing connections between unrelated sources. With that, we were able to create the first system capable of synthesizing what we called artificial creativity. From a single instruction, Miro was now able to combine unrelated information and generate original solutions. Despite the responsibility, I had never been prouder in my life. Yeah, minor threats, blah blah. Can't even see much of anything with this light. During the scanning and planning process, we fell into a rhythm, almost a routine. Each team member spent between 12 to 18 straight hours connected to the ship's core. Although no physical effort was required, it was a mental strain like no other. Multiple sessions were needed for each topic. Physiological needs were managed by the survival suit. The necessary nutrients were delivered through subcutaneous access points. So-and-so did not participate in a single session. It was a miserable routine. The only force that kept us moving forward was the hope that this was the only way to survive all of this. Okay. Oh, okay. I love lore and all, but this is a bit of a dump. The limit of people awake at the same time, the complexity of the tasks, the time it took to process each new mind connected to the core, these were all factors in how long it took to complete the team scan. The scanning process took about 1,800 hours to complete. In that time, I learned a second terrible thing about cryosleep. Not dreaming meant not being able to rest. Even though we entered a deep sleep and our bodies were physically rested, our minds never shut off. It was like working continuously for weeks without a single break, without a minute of rest. You could feel people's sanity slipping away, especially mine. After tremendous effort, the new plan was ready to be set in motion, automated terraforming. Although the details were complex, the plan itself was quite simple. We would send drones to the planet. The goal is for them to map resource-rich regions, extract the necessary materials, and build any facilities required for the terraforming process. This included gas processing stations, liquid filtration, plant germination, and animal incubation. Miro was prepared to make decisions based on the results of each phase of the process and to adjust the necessary parameters without human intervention. It would be a long process. We would remain in cryosleep for centuries while Miro did its work. Over the cycle, some crew members would be awakened to assess progress. I guarantee that everything was proceeding as expected, preventing an inadequate solution from lasting longer than necessary. For the first time in a long time, we were excited. We were more prepared than before. I felt confident in what we had built. You're not done talking to me, are you? This sounds very unresolved. Conversationally. Yep. I can't say how many cycles passed during the automated terraforming process. In general, it was a calmer atmosphere than any other event inside Miro. Whoever was awake during the cycle, our goal was to analyze the information sent by the drones on the ground. So-and-so was never awake during these moments. Since we didn't have a deadline, we had more time to interact with one another. Food was bad, but everything seemed to be going well. The results almost always left something to be desired. Sometimes a small error in the chemical composition of the flora made it toxic to the fauna. Sometimes an acidic ocean had been created. It happens. But we were always around to fix any errors and move forward. It took us at least 200 cycles to complete the first technically habitable planet. Clodu. Remember, it's where we found the abandoned human colony? Are you talking about the planet I woke up on? We were appropriately excited and a bit anxious. Although the data indicated a habitable planet with already developed flora and fauna, was it safe for us? It was time to send a group of people to investigate. Drones had already built a housing complex and installed the necessary equipment to analyze the planet. A group of 11 people was selected. I didn't know most of them, well, except for Camilla. I was glad he was chosen. He was one of the most eager people to leave this ship and explore a new place. They would stay on the surface for about 20 local days. I can't say how many Earth hours or days that is. Depending on the result, we could begin constructing housing for the rest of the crew. We could then land and start again in a new home. Our journey could be coming to an end. Despite a certain anxiety, I could taste victory. We returned to cryosleep while they prepared to descend to the planet. That must have been my last peaceful sleep. When I woke up, I was immediately taken to the central room. So-and-so was there, standing beside a person in a survival suit. Something felt wrong. The speech began about the risks we would still face on our journey. Shortly after, he lamented the loss of the reconnaissance team on Flodu. I couldn't focus much after that. They were dead. And he simply continued talking about efficiency and safety. I could only think about those people. While so-and-so revealed to us that we had lost the team on Flodu, there was a person standing beside him, completely motionless. The purpose of that meeting was to present a possible solution to prevent the teams from being exposed to greater dangers. And that's how we were introduced to the vessels. The big solution. Vessels were the perfect workers. We could insert pieces of a person's memories and instruct them with complex objectives. Their suits simulated cryosleep when necessary, reducing their needs for nutrients. Their bodies were genetically developed to be practically tireless. Although organic, they were codependent on an operating system. Their brains couldn't process feelings or make decisions on their own. Created to follow orders, never tire, never question their purpose. Perhaps you've already realized this. You were that person standing beside so-and-so showcased as a new product. Alright, well, we aren't entirely human. Great. Confirmed. Or at least it's the body you inhabit. Right? Where in the world am I going? After the announcement of the vessel's development, something changed. The scientific team was rarely awakened for analysis or decision-making. We were unaware of what the next steps were. We were almost constantly in cryogenic sleep. The number of people awake simultaneously decreased to 3. There was always a scientist, one of the engineers, and so-and-so. Vessels moved freely through the ship's corridors, performing tasks that had previously been within the scope of other crew members. All the meetings were conflicting in some way. Decisions were passed through messages, always contradicting between one cycle and the next. They were trying to confuse us. Little by little, we were divided and set against each other. We were manipulated. Exhausted, there was no more hope in me. Alright, I'm still getting an awful lot of foliage out of you. Suddenly I was in a field. Rolling hills stretched out to the horizon, sky had a yellowish hue. In the distance, I could see silhouettes of large structures. Maybe they were cities. I could see movement between the buildings. I was abruptly awakened from that dream. No time to fully process what was happening. In front of me was so-and-so. He was begging for help. His face was aged, with gray, almost white hair and beard. The cryo chambers were malfunctioning. He took me out of my capsule and took my place, leaving me on the floor while he entered a deep sleep. I was so catatonic that I barely noticed my hands were all too wrinkled. I looked around, and except for my own cryo capsule, all the others were shut down. Empty. I couldn't accept that this was the end of our journey. I wasn't ready to give up. I felt weakened. The failure of the cryo capsules caused our bodies to age. The malfunction allowed me to dream moments before waking up. I felt tired, but I gathered my strength and made my way to the ship's core. I didn't have a well-defined plan, but the only way to reverse this situation was by programming Miro. I was good at improvising. I put on my suit and connected myself to the core. I could hear my own voice through the suit's transmission. Miro was talking to me. She was completely different, with a serious yet confused tone. She explained that there had been an impact, causing damage she couldn't fix on her own. Communication channels with the vessels were inaccessible. The impact couldn't be avoided as the systems were running on low power. Her sensors were offline. The lights left me a little disoriented. She needed new instructions. I stood still for a while, considering my options in front of Miro. I felt hunger, cold, my bones ached. I couldn't diagnose my health condition. Alone, any action would take years. I no longer had years to live. I decided to upload my entire mind to the core, trying to extend the time my consciousness would remain active. This would erase the system's data. But with enough time, maybe I could find a way out, something that could save humanity. And that's how I died. It doesn't feel like the best move, but it feels like this is a whole series of bad moves. I don't know how long I was disconnected, but I know that when I regained consciousness, everything was very confusing. The way information in a human mind is organized is very different from the way a computer processes data. Thanks to your help, I was able to organize my thoughts to put this big puzzle together. We now need to decide which path to take. Keep collecting data for now. Oh good, I think they might be done talking for them. Okay, yeah, like I said, I love... we're not even bugging. I know the situation doesn't seem very helpful, but maybe there's still something we can do. Clouseau was plotting something. The way he divided us was certainly to hide some grand plan. Keep exploring Miro and the abandoned facilities on the planets. I'm sure we'll find something about how about starting with the command bridge? I was just there. That's how I got here. Thank you. Maybe right here. DNA. Okay, so whatever planet I randomly programmed in here apparently had something for me, because DNA is not an item I had before. Yeah, DNA is definitely a new item. I'll take it. I have no idea how it's going to help us, but alright. Alright, now as I was saying, before I got interrupted again by this spiel of information. Story powered, yeah. As much as I love my lore and being info, that was too much info dump at once. Okay, let's find what we can here. Oops. Come on, land. Board. Is DNA the only new thing here? Second mate. Ooh, that's a cool looking chip. Core chip, something. Managed core chip. Well, it's better than what I had, so let's see what... Oh, wow. Improved coils, green boots, reinforced joints, light carbon suit, 4 upgrades, and good number of pluses attached to most of them. Alright. Well, that's a worthwhile find, I think. All the goods, grab all the goods. Strong bandage. Ooh, I need that experiment. So that's great. I'll have to make more of those, for 1. And 2... Yeah, I think I had some experiments to run with that. More DNA for me. Alright. Well, this is a cool planet to explore, look-wise, and it seems to have some new resources, so that's a bonus. And if we're lucky, we'll be able to explore it without annoying super tight visual issues. Well, whoops. Where do I want to go? I don't even know where I'm at. Where am I going? Turning around. Let's go this way. Sword? I think. Oh yeah, this bike is so much better than my other ones. Practically, I can almost climb this mountain. Woo! I can climb this mountain. Sick. I better not fall off my bike here, though, otherwise I'm not getting back up here to, and I'll have to shoot. There it is. Okay. Give me my bike back. Almost lost my bike. Where am I going? See some buildings over there. Go for that. Nope, silo over there. Don't really care about that. This looks important. This looks like... Wait, are we on Pluto? Or something now? Because this is looking very, questionably like apartment complexes and like a makeshift city setup might have had. What's in here? I see some goodies. Ah, almost had it. There we go. Key card. The blue one. Abandoned. Yep, alright, alright. Okay, what is key card for? Hmm? Do you have doors on these buildings somewhere? Epsilon Cluster Wura. Wow, we jumped all the way to Epsilon Cluster somehow. Did I unlock Epsilon Cluster before? I don't recall unlocking Epsilon Cluster. Maybe I did, and just don't remember it. You're gonna attack me, aren't you? Yeah, you got a turret. Are you inactive? Probably shouldn't tempt fate like this, but you know what? Okay, you're not gonna attack me. I'm all good with that. But now this is making me wonder: did I actually? There's another one in there. I saw you. Did my random data entry actually send me somewhere I shouldn't normally be able to go yet? Did I just... Wait, am I being not affected by radiation levels right now because I have the radiation suit now? Ah, that's sick. Okay, I can work with that. But, yeah, okay. Apparently I jumped ahead a bit. It still says explore freely. Yeah, nothing on the abandoned transport vehicle, just heatsink. Okay. I have a feeling this place would be a lot less safe for me if I somehow kick these robots off. Because if I take these robots off, this looks like it could get really, really dangerous for me real fast. Alright, yep. Data. Good. I still haven't decided if I prefer places to be abandoned or not. It would be a relief to find someone, or terrifying. Be careful either way. There's a lot of medical equipment scattered around here. It seems to be of high quality. Uh-huh. They look like incubators compared to the ones we found before. They've undergone significant improvements. Instead of glass, they use a semi-transparent metallic alloy. It's the same technology used in cryogenic chambers. Key card. These are magnetic scanners, but they're also equipped to perform surgical procedures. This is a room where they implanted neural devices in the vessels. That's a nice looking core chip. Okay, way up. What might we find on the upper floor? Give me a minute. Finish raiding the lower floor. A restroom. Some sort of infirmary, perhaps? There are accommodations for several patients at once. Who managed this? Alright. There's that. There's something. Another key card. Finding key cards left and right. There's an awful lot of probably blood all over the place. Security breach detected. Samples acquired. It's much brighter here, isn't it? For some reason, that made me feel less comfortable. It seems like a sterile, completely hostile environment. Ah, the happy rooms. Where's my straitjacket? Report. 23. The subject has developed preferences for packaging colors, favoring warm tones. These rooms were used to monitor the vessel's maturation. A vessel could only receive the neural implant 44,000 hours after being removed from the incubator. A human child of that age would normally be capable of forming their own opinions. The neural implant adaptation process involves the complete destruction of the patient's memories, including motor coordination areas. The patient's brain then receives a copy of someone else's memories, completely overridden. This place is horrible. Grab what you need and let's get out of here. Report. Subject exhibits continuous and healthy development. Food rejection lasts no longer than 12 hours. Report. Subject in a critical state of anxiety, difficulty administering sedatives. Coercive restraint methods were applied. Great. Subject found unconscious. Possible nutrient deficiency detected. Alright. I think we're cleared out in here. I'd be worried about that whole security bit, though. That sounds like I'm gonna step outside and have a bunch of really angry robots coming at me. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? Right? Oh, yep, they did. They definitely went that way. Okay, sweet. I can't see much of anything. Great. Get off my lawn! Take your stuff. Give me that. Taking all your stuff. Ooh, I do like that it looks like there's a little red dot showing where my vehicle is. That's really nice. So, this way. Let's get back to my vehicle and get out of here before I get murdered by a bunch of giant robots that are no longer where I left them a minute ago. Very uncomfortable. Very not comfortable stuff. Not having the robots where I left them. I see a targeting reticle. Where are you? Hello? That was quite the jump you had there. Missed. I keep shooting you guys. Well, apparently you can fly if I shoot you like that. Bye! Guess I will never know if you'll drop useful resources or not. Because I'm not chasing you down to find out. Alright. Oh, shoot. Right into it. How do I get out of here? Could maybe go Go in. Oh, what the? What was that? Why did I just take a bunch of damage? What just hit me? Did I just flip a tree really wrong or something? Alright, I gotta figure out how to get out of this place. There are too many trees here and I don't like it. This way. Okay. Go up this way and then this way. And this way. And that's another 2. But now we've got a little bit of height. So if I keep the accelerator on, I should be able to fly over some of this until I can get to a clearer spot where I can get more height. Yeah, I really like this vehicle compared to some of the other stuff. Yeah, this part seems like a worthwhile stop to take a look at. Anything new? Stinks seem to be the norm here. Okay. Well. Huh. I'm starting to wonder if it would be easier for me to get back to my ship by abandoning my vehicle, because it's so hard to move it amongst all these everything. At the same time, though, it is a pain to go up these mountains myself at times too, so... Ow. Where did my vehicle go? Well, I may not have it to say in the matter now. My vehicle is, I think, in a tree. Where are you? There's my bike. Woo! Okay, next, I'll be up high enough to get some air. Nah! Not like that. Okay. We're getting off of here mostly because these trees are... I was already in there. Don't care about that. Oh, there's another facility over there, but if all they're giving me is DNA, is it worth exploring further? Nah, let's just... We've got what we came for, let us bail. For the time being, and see what this gives us. Alright. Should be close to my drop pod here somewhere. Almost. Ah, there you are. Blending in with the trees. Boom. And up we go. Hey there. And away we go. Got a good bit of data out of that trip. Whew. Okay. Well, this game is going some really weird directions. Hoffman was the one who helped Ryan during his post-cryo sleep crisis. He spent a lot of time trying to figure out what had caused the clot in the respiratory system. It was a new phenomenon, something he hadn't seen in his career, but there was one theory that stood out above all others. It was possible that Ryan had suffered a ruptured blood vessel during the launch process, something that under normal conditions would have been at most a nosebleed. But under cryo sleep, if the body's systems operate at a fraction of their capacity, this blood vessel wasn't able to heal, accumulating blood in his airways for years. If the theory was correct, cryosleep could be fatal for someone with a more serious injury. Yeah, okay. Investigate the command bridge. Alright, now I'm purposefully going to the command bridge, huh? But before we do that... Nope. There. Let's make some more of these. Getting the sense I'm gonna want them. Alright. New things. Grappling hook reach. Nice. Hook is launched. More hook reach. Spring boots. Okay, more impact. That. And that. Okay, 1 second. Let's make more of these because I don't like being low on them. And they seem to be coming up more and more as a useful item. Okay. Done with that. Grappling hook reach. Wait, am I out of those resources? How did I make advanced fabric? Was that this? Yes. Okay, I'm almost out of micro metals too. That's not good. Alright, so data, micro metal. Let's get some more of that. That last planet had a whole ton of trees, but not so much in the area of rocks I could get stuff out of. So that planet didn't quite work out for what I needed. Let's get some more of this. I gotta be more careful about my supplies, or I'm gonna run out of something key and not even realize it with how many different resources we now are dealing with. Alright, that should do it for the time being. More spring boots. Grappling hook reach. Don't know what that key is still. Grappling hook reach. I haven't really even used the grappling hook yet, but boy, if I ever do, it can do all the things now. Grappling hook reach, but I don't know what that material is. See, that one we haven't seen yet. That one we haven't seen yet. Well, I think we're only missing like 2 resources, so progressing quickly. Alright. Nothing to this DNA currently? Alright. Alright, I think we're done with that for now. Let's do what the objectives tell us to do right now. There are new combinations available at the science terminal. We can enhance the functionality of your grappling hook, ensuring better efficiency and safety. Already ahead of it. Done already. You're a little late on the uptake there. Sorry. We didn't have free access to all areas of Miro, but specifically the command bridge was the one place where no one was ever alone. So-and-so was always present, whatever the subject being discussed there. We were completely caught off guard when he announced the vessels. This was a very complex project. It must have taken many cycles to complete. I finally managed to analyze some remaining data from the navigation systems. Epsilon cluster is where the development of the vessels took place. We need to visit those laboratories to better understand how they work. Beat you to it! Check the crowd chambers aboard Miro. Did I glitch this game out a little bit? So we got advanced fabric. I checked the crowd chambers aboard Miro. We already did this, I thought. Alright, we'll do it. What do you want this time? The bridge's coordinates terminal can take us to any planetary address. This could be interesting as we could explore unknown clusters. Of course, most of the planets we have mapped so far were completely barren. There's no signs of life whatsoever. Keep that in mind when visiting a random address. So you're saying I got stupid lucky in being the one I did. Why is there a glowy thing? Was this here before? I don't remember this being here before. What's your opinion on extravagant plants? Because I have one. A good one. During our journey, we've encountered several types of incubators for various species of creatures. There are many similarities between our cryogenic chambers and the incubators in the lab that developed vessels. I think it's obvious what I intend to do, right? We're going to adjust this room to produce human clones. We'll need a substantial amount of human DNA for that. The process will take time. I'll need several cycles to make the necessary adjustments, but there are other details to my plan. Visit Miro's engines, and I'll explain more when you're there. Short 3 DNA. Okay. Guess I'll go get some more DNA popped together real quick. And go check Miro's engines. Alright, DNA. Okay, I can't synthesize more DNA, so I do have to go back to that planet or another planet like it in order to get more DNA. Alright, what's down in the engines they want to talk to me about now? Probably what we need to do with that repair. Something is making me a little uneasy. Maybe you can help me solve a small mystery. When so-and-so woke me up, all old and decrepit, Miro was suffering from a power shortage. That's why the cryogenic capsules were failing. There was damage to the hull caused by some external impact, but that wasn't the real cause of the problem. The impact happened because the systems responsible for detecting and preventing collisions were turned off. This means the reactor was already in a critical state before the impact. You understand what I'm saying? I believe someone deliberately damaged the reactor. I know it's a serious accusation, but I've analyzed all possibilities and I see no other explanation. If we investigate this thoroughly, we might be able to recover log from a previous version of the ship's systems, a copy from before I erased all data with my own mind. Do you think you could help me with this? Yeah. Let's discuss the possible sabotage of Miro's reactor. The first step is to list who had access to the room. Then we look for a motive. Besides absolutely every engineer from existing companies, some of the scientists could also access the reactors. However it was, they were always accompanied by an employee or a vessel. Even after removing people who were no longer part of the expedition, like Camillo and his team, there are still hundreds of possible suspects. It's a huge list. I don't feel like we're getting anywhere. I need to think more about this. Keep exploring. Ideally, we'd build the cloning stations on solid ground, but that's a riskier procedure. We're running low on resources. If anything happens to our connection, we're done for. As I mentioned, these engines won't withstand atmospheric entry. We'd be torn to pieces instead. That would hurt a lot if I still had a bomb. Fortunately, we've had a few cycles to revisit the engine designs. With the right materials, we can adjust them to allow us to land on a planet. With the ship on the ground, we can shut down most systems and focus all resources on maintaining our new incubators. Now, I need you to gather the necessary materials to adjust the engine. We are close to saving this expedition. Encrypted data. Yeah, I need more micrometals by a lot. And I need digital keys. So I need DNA, digital keys wherever those are, and micrometals. Okay. Prepare the cloning chambers. So, progress along these lines. Let's keep going. I've got some time. Still, let me see here. We will go Epsilon Cluster. Interesting, I went to Epsilon Cluster even though I can't go to Epsilon Cluster normally. DNA, heat sink, microchip, encrypted data, strong bandage. Optical cable, mobile transmitter, motherboard, lead plate. Optical cable. Did I not get any of that last time? Mobile transmitter. No, optical cable. Okay, I didn't get that. That was that one. Alright. Well, let me go back up here and see if I just reactivate the bridge. Would that take me right back down to that planet? Or would I or did I change anything accidentally? I don't remember. Either way, it's worth a quick check. See if I can just jump back to that one planet anyway, and maybe get some more DNA. I did have another facility there. I didn't realize that was an item I couldn't just create more of. Yeah, it worked! For the cloning chambers, yes, I know, but first, I need more data to create more everything. To get to further sectors, to get more resources I don't have currently. And I need to go somewhere here to get more DNA. The area that I hadn't been before that I saw somewhere in this direction. Yeah, okay. My memory's serving me well. Bonk. No, this is not what I thought it was. Maybe not going to get resources out of this. Reactor damage happened after the creation of the vessel, so let's not rule out the possibility that one of them made a mistake during maintenance. If that were the case, someone would have been alerted to the problem immediately because that's how the vessels work. They were incapable of keeping any secrets. We won't remove them from our list of suspects, but I don't intend to spend time analyzing the possibility for now at least. The truth is, it's more likely that one of the scientists was responsible. After the vessels were introduced, we became mere spectators in a situation where our knowledge should have been essential. The feeling of helplessness in such a critical situation can lead a person to make bad decisions. Could I have been the one responsible for the sabotage? Who knows? Can I build this up before I wake him up, potentially? Sick. I like that. Wanted to see if I could actually blow him up. It doesn't look like they actually blow up. They just get really angry and fly off. Well, I'm still going to, thank you for that, break all your stuff before I wake you up and make you angry. Oh, for the love of Pete. Land! Where I want you to. There. There. Need all the resources. I see all of you waiting here to shoot me. Yeah, I see you. What's on you? I'm faster at it. I'm gonna preemptively kill you all. Or at least this. Hey, there's DNA. I'll get that in a minute. Come back! Why are you running away? Oh, that's weird that they just kicked off the resources. The DNA? No, bandage. Strong bandage though, so I'll take it. Okay. I disabled enough of you to not have a threat for me now. I took care of all the ones that are in this immediate vicinity. So, let's get back to our main goal of coming back here, which is DNA collection. Is that DNA there? If our information is correct, this is one of the facilities where the vessels were developed. If my hunch is right, the psychological resemblance between a vessel and a human being is very high. Please investigate the structure. We might find something important here. Yeah. More data. Great. Give me all your stuff. More data. Another chip. More data. What are my chips looking like? Another pretty good one. Let's clean up a little bit. Alright, I'll hold on to these other ones for now. I think, yeah, get rid of one of you guys, I think, though. Let me see here. Okay, it does reward me with data for recycling these, so that's something. Let's get rid of you. Yeah, I could use the data more. Anyway, so that works. Here. Give me all you got. Where's good? Come on. Wait, is that data? But I need DNA. That's what I really need. I saw some more over. More DNA. Excellent. I think I have enough now for the one task. Yeah. Should be enough DNA to accomplish my one goal. Let's see if there's anything else interesting up here. Oh, some more DNA. Probably not going to hurt to have a little extra. Subject in a critical state of anxiety, difficulty administering sedatives, methods were applied. Yeah. That's one we've already read. Interesting. Subject initiates self-locomotionally when stimulated. Standard procedure involves delivering food at a certain distance. Subject missing. Oh, that's always good. Here, yeah. Definitely what you want. Subject is missing. As in, they've escaped. They are loose. Who knows what they'll be doing? Report, subject initiates self-locomotionally when, yeah, okay, another one of those. Keep batteries accidentally. So used to do things for, or like, to like flashlight and things like that. There's no flashlight. Alright, I think I've got enough DNA now, though. That's great. Where did I leave my... Okay. Let's get out of here again. No point in hanging around. And out of here we go. One day today. And we're running. And we're running. And we're running. I wasn't awake when it happened, but I know everything greatly changed Hoffman's perception of something greatly changed Hoffman's perception of so. During one of the spaceship's maintenance cycles, Lars Backer suffered a large cut on his forearm, an accident, something inevitable in the expedition of the scale. He was one of the engineers aboard the expedition. Bandages were applied. It wasn't a severe injury, however, the wound would take weeks to heal. Hoffman was certain that returning to cryosleep was risky. This would put the engineer's life at risk. Despite his protests, the final decision was still made by so-and-so. Under the influence of sedatives, Lars Backer was placed back into his cryosleep pod. Yes, he died. I'm not exactly sure who started it, but over time the workshops became the meeting point for engineers and scientists. Even those without experience in mechatronics or smaller projects. That's how some of the most unusual equipment came to life. We still had restrictions, of course, but through notes and encoded communication with the ship's core, the projects began to take shape. Jason was not very happy with all the movement in his workshops, but I remember Camilo and Miro grew very close during their interactions. That's how they started the most ridiculous futuristic locomotion project I've ever seen, the flying motorcycle, which we have currently been using. Thank you for the extra data. Alright, let's get our butt over to here. It was the monitoring systems of the cryosleep pods that woke Klaus Hoffman. Lars Backer didn't survive the cryosleep cycle. The scene was described as something out of a nightmare. The combination of antibiotics and the cryogenic process left Lars' immune system utterly unbalanced. His cryosleep pod was filled with infected blood, alongside a body that was completely disfigured. A death that could have easily been avoided, a trauma that would haunt us like a ghost. DNA requirements. Repair. Part technology. Human genome. We have successfully completed the human genome. There is enough genetic diversity to clone a healthy population. We are one step closer to saving humanity. The human race, as a species at least. Sick. Well, modify Miro's engines for atmospheric entry. Yep, that's the next goal. I can figure out where to get some of the resources for that. Because I don't know. Epsilon. I can't go beyond Epsilon. Okay. Well, let's unlock Epsilon. Now I can unlock the next one. Digima cluster. Digital keys, optical cable, motherboard. Okay, so I have to get the next cluster unlocked in order to get the digital keys I need. That, or I'm going to have to work out some issues. Either way, digital keys, optical cable, motherboard, microchip, stabilizer, encrypted data, receiver, strong bandage. Right. We could just wait a bit for my greenhouse to produce what I need for that. Let's go to Kaitan. Or Satan. Satan. Satan! We're going to Satan's planet. Nah, not really. But, yeah, let's just jump down here, roll some more data. Or, just by going around the place to get some more data. Unlock the next area. Work from there. Mushrooms! This could be either really good or really bad. And rhinos. Yeah, good thing I'm apparently really docile rhino. Would you still trust me if you found out I was the one who sabotaged Miro's reactors? That's actually a rhetorical question. Ever since the idea crossed my mind, I've spent a lot of time analyzing the data and have reached a conclusion. Right now, I have very clear memories of various events in my life. Teenage relationships, favorite bands, the day I had a car accident. I remember more details than I ever did while I was alive. I recall the feeling of every part of my body during each of those events. I could tell you what my toes felt like while eating a slice of pizza on December 27th, 2007. Keeping that in mind, it's safe to say that I have no recollection of visiting Miro's reactors while I was alive. I hope you can trust that I was not directly responsible for the deaths of the hundreds of people in our expedition. Let's continue our investigation. Yeah, mushrooms this size could be really good or really bad. I say this because, one, if they're edible, or could be, used for various things, there's a lot you could do with them. But, also, those spores could be really, really dangerous. Like, mushrooms do so many things, break down things, hijack nervous systems in some fungi forms. Yeah, like, there's things that could go very wrong. Where I want to go next. My nose, all over the place. Cool plants. Under threat, yeah. Look at that. Let's grab a few minor resources here, there. Let's just poke around a few odds and ends. I kind of want to go to another genetic lab right now. See if we can find anything else. Because they seem to have some newer type of structures around here. There's a possibility of us getting into some interesting materials. Alright, we got questionable blocks of stuff. Odd pills. Alright. What is that? Bunker? Garage or shed or something. Oh, no, not much. Well, I do need more micrometals, so I should grab that. I bet this is right. Yes. Alright, can we just get a big cluster of these all in one spot instead of being scattered all over the place? That way I can grab a bunch of micrometals right away and just call it good. There we go, this is better. This is a few micrometals. More than I had. I do find it weird that we can only get like one resource per block of everything. I guess it's just a way of managing it, but at the same time it is kind of funny still. It's like, ah yes, there is only this much useful items from these resources that are bigger than you are. Seeing anything else really sticking out to me? Ow. Alright, I should be more careful. Hurting myself from being careless and jumping too high. Alright. Well, I think if I head back to the ship about now, probably have gathered enough data to go to the next cluster. And at least then we can get some new something. Maybe. Yeah, there's another genetic facility. Seeing something red over here. It's just different colored trees. That looks like a pterodactyl. Okay, different colored trees. That is a pterodactyl. Great. Alright, we'll park right here. Ready to go and run for it. That's right. You better fly away. Ah, who's sliding? Go. Well, let's see if there's anything else interesting story-wise or element-wise we can get out of here. Unless there is a little data. Data. Alright, cool. That helps. That'll speed up our whole expedition. Good. New ship. Couple new ships. This is good, though. I could break these down and get a lot of data out of those. Oh, this one doesn't seem to have a lot of genetic material in here, which is interesting. Health development, food rejection lasts longer, yeah. Blah, nothing new there. Looks like they didn't prepare that many logs for price. That or their randomizer really put a lot of the same ones together. Critical state, anxiety, that was like the third time we've seen that. Possible nutrient deficiency. Interesting that, yeah, this one, all the other ones of these had genetic DNA stuff all over the place. I wonder if it's because it is a material. Oh, yeah, I wonder. It's because it's a material that the game only needed for that one spot. So it made sure they were available at these places during that, but now that I've done that one task, now all of them are empty of genetic material and they've replaced it with other stuff. Because I don't think I've seen any more DNA here since being back. What's up? Get fired! Where'd I leave my car? Where'd I leave my car? Wasn't too far from here. I saw that. I saw you trying to shoot at me. There's the vehicle. Want my bike. Bonk. Alright, let's just get out. We probably have enough data now to sick looking. I will give it that. Kinda nice. Little variations on everything. I like that the looks are different, but the general gameplay is moderately the same, so it's still kind of repetitive loop-wise and all that. I did definitely use some interesting mechanics for this game. Don't hit. There we go. I'm gonna hit all of them. Alright. Yeah. This thing turns a lot sometimes and not a lot of others. There we go. But, yeah, so I'm not sure how I feel about the game entirely. Like, it's good, but at the same time, it probably... kind of also feels like it could be missing some... Like, it could use a little more refinement. But it's good for if you just want to have fun poking around weird worlds. Seeing what weird combinations you can come up with. But it doesn't have a huge variety in reasons to poke around all these different places. Excuse me? The bike just said, get off. Almost there. There's my drop. Ooh, I'm a little tempted to just go over to that satellite for more data. Nah. Not worth the time. The satellites usually have a couple hundred data near it, though. Data received 807, so we got some other data going around. That should be more than enough to fill in the gap we need. Loading, initializing, allocating, blah 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 blah. To make the necessary adjustments to the engine, we'll need many resources. Only then will we be able to enter an atmosphere without completely destroying Miro. We can find them in Digimon Cluster. Yeah, I kind of figured. But I have to... Kind of figured that much out already by myself. Just gotta get that far. Alright. Digimon Cluster. There we go. There's a Zeta Cluster. What does Zeta Cluster give us differently? Strong bandage, mobile. I don't see anything new in Zeta Cluster, so if there's a reason to go there, it's probably just for story element reasons. Like, now you must go to Zeta Cluster to find this facility to use the Stargates. I don't know. Let's just jump down into here. Wadira or Wood. Wadira. Wadira, we'll go with that. Wadira. Poking around. Alright, nice and open. I can work with this. This can definitely be worked with. Well, there's some data. I'm probably gonna need that. Right nearby, too. Ooh, those guys could wreck me if they were to actually be violent. Yeah, 261. You have to admit, a flying motorcycle is a pretty silly invention. It has zero safety. How do you stop something that doesn't have contact with the ground? But we needed something to clear our minds during the longer sessions of data transfer and analysis. Miro and Camillo spent hours and hours discussing the project's details, prototyping, stabilizing mechanisms, adjusting the design of the thrusters, those boring details. Before going back to their project sleep capsules, they left Miro with the task of simulating the project in different scenarios. Obviously, so-and-so had no idea about any of this. He pretended to care about the crew's well-being, but in reality, he wasn't interested in any of us. Aside from a few essential interactions, he didn't directly speak to any of the scientists. I don't think he even knew all of our names. That, in retrospect, was actually a good thing. We had more freedom to discuss our ideas and private objectives. 640, okay, worth it. Where do I go to get new resources in here? That looks potential. Like what we might want in? Is that moving? Or is that just weirdly clipping around in the picture? Minor threat detected. Oh, seen one of those in a while. If that's what I think it is. Greenhouse. Alright. First, let's check out his location reached. Gun ready. Where's my entrance? This isn't the type of building I thought it was. Needs a battery. Oh no. Mine. Digital key acquired. Got a few things I need those for. Alright. I think the digital key was something I could at least make copies of using my extra data files or whatever, so that's handy. Yeah, the encrypted data, I mean. Yeah, if I use that, I should be able to multiply the key I got. That should speed up the process. Let's poke around in here a little more first. Oh, hi. Walked right into that one. Maybe a shotgun design wasn't the best for this after all. I need a key card. Gotcha. Data. Thank you. Kind of sucky amount of data, but okay. Beats nothing. Key cards. That's what I needed. Let's check out the rest of this plate. That. You. More of those. Thank you. Interesting facilities. Now let's get out of here. Hi guys. No touchy. Let me just duck inside this greenhouse here and see if I can't get some info out of it. And also just restock my microfibers and whatnot. I have a good bit of room for those right now, and these are low. $87. And care. Let's go, let's go. Good. Anything else particularly interesting looking in the immediate vicinity? Nah. Let's get out of here and take these back to the ship, where I think I can use them to make more. Or I can make more of these. Call it good. Where's my... Yeah, this way? It's over near the dish. So many dots on here, I think. My drop box right. Yeah, there we go. Close enough. No, cool looking map. Hold on. Beep 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 boom. Okay, before we get out of here, let me just go off this direction a little bit. I'm kind of curious what the different coloration on the map is indicating, since I don't see any mountains. Does that mean there's a huge cliff off this way? Oh, yeah, it does. Alright. It's not a huge cliff, I guess, but pretty good drop-off. Let's just take a peek. Cool. Very airy planet. There is a... What is this? Funky looking shed? on, go in. There we go. Alright, it has more stuff in it, including more of the keys, so that's a nice touch. Not just a empty... There, you can look at this place, but don't bother going in. Excuse me. Where'd you go? You're going? You coming to eat me? You don't get to just walk off after that. Alright, let's go over to the satellite, grab the data. There's 2 satellites. Alright, I should grab these data points just because I really could use the data to build it. Then we'll head back, repair our engines, and see what the game tells us after that. Oh, look at the little ones. Are they an adult and its babies, or are they a big one getting chased by a bunch of little ones trying to eat it? Data bits. Oh, that didn't pay off nearly as well as the other one. At least the transportation is so much faster with an actual bike that doesn't run out of battery. I wonder how that's designed, difference-wise. Like, the other ones, I guess, are maybe the idea is that they're older, beat up, and, you know, not functional in the same sense. But it could also be that it's just a handy touch to, because they knew it would be really annoying otherwise. If you went through all the trouble of making a bike just to have it run out, die on. Okay, that one had some decent data available. Let's just go over here to unlock this section as a fast travel point. On the off chance I do come back here. Yeah, this bike has nowhere near the features that mine does. Good enough. Time to leave. Now we can head out and call it good, and I think I'm happy with how this is all played out. That is where I get micro mails from. You know, I'm not gonna worry about it. I've got enough, I'm not really gonna worry about the micro mails so much, just because I've got enough, data items to make more. To make enough of what I need. Okay. New building that I didn't notice before? Did I walk right past this? Yeah, I did. So that's definitely been raided. This building looks different. Let's, I should take a look at this. This looks kind of cool. Oh, we're getting a storm. At least I can still see during this one. Ooh. Let's worry about getting struck by lightning? Probably not. Alright, receiver. Inside the building. Warship. That. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that. Apparently I made the door angry. And I didn't just don't get potentially struck by lightning there. Ah, I can jump on these ladders. Okay, I won't recharge my jump rate. Let's climb up here and take a look. Anything cool? No? Okay. We're done here. Let's get out. to go this direction. Whoa, doo-doo-doo-doo. That's just another one of the little Velociraptor types. What's up? Alright, where's my... This thing goes way over here. Don't crash into the cactus. Strangely glowy purple cactus that is probably totally not going to be dangerous for us. There's pride. We're getting out of here. Faster movement, go, 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 and away! Oh, we got a ton of data on that trip. Data 3. Great. That's good though, because we needed, what, 10,000 for the next sector? Something like that? Okay, let's get in here and see what we can do. First, this. Modify Miro's engine for atmosphere. To make the necessary adjustments to the engine, we'll need many resources. Only then will we be able to enter an atmosphere without completely destroying Miro. We can find them in Digima Cluster. I know that. I'm already on that. Give me a minute. Need more of these. Alright, that's probably enough. Now then, let me poke around and see what we can make with some of this. Nothing new. Nothing new. Nothing new. Resource container. Sure. Probably won't ever use it to that extent, but now we can carry more. Grappling hook reach. I still don't have that reach. That is one resource we don't have yet. I'm guessing that'll be in the next sector, and it'll be the final thing we have to have in order to do something important involving saving humanity from destruction. Or more like unextinctioning humanity. Yeah. Cool. We can do that. I was able to recover some surveillance data from Miro's systems. This will help us determine who is responsible for sabotaging the ship's reactors. It was me, wasn't it? The events are cataloged in a direct but strange way. They're like video descriptions, but rewritten multiple times, adding details based on external accounts. It's confusing, almost nonsensical. The survival suit data from people is overlaid in real time, along with a log of every ship's sensor. It's a mess. I'm telling you this to justify that decoding these files into something that makes sense to us is a very time-consuming process. But little by little, we are gaining a clearer idea of what happened while I was in cryogenic sleep. Please keep gathering as much data as possible. They're carrying these. If you stop talking to me, after Lara's death, Hoffman became a much more reserved person. We interacted only a few times, as we were rarely awake during the same intervals. It was clear that he blamed himself for what happened. Yep, okay. Got enough to repair this. Our engines are now capable of slowing down atmospheric entry on planets with up to 180% of Earth's mass. It's worth noting that this will allow us to land on a planet, but we won't be able to return to orbit once we're on the surface. It's best not to let you have expectations about possible new journeys after all this is over. Obviously, nothing prevents this new spacecraft from being built. It'll just take a long time. So what you're telling me is we're not landing until we can confirm where we're actually landing. Check Miro's rest area. Where's rest area? Which one was that? Which one was the rest area? Not here. Isn't... Hold on a second. Just to confirm. It's not down here either. Oh, the resources are back. That's good to know. If I ever do need to grab one of those, I can grab them from there. Alright. Even though it's not a lot, but it's still something that I don't have to go down to a specific planet for if I do that. Okay, rest. Wait, is this the rest? Kinda seems like a lounge. I'd like to say that we're ready to choose the planet for our final expedition, but nothing has been easy so far, has it? I'm having difficulty analyzing the functionality of our incubators. When I rewrote the original data of the ship's operating system, I destroyed most of the knowledge the library accumulated up to that point. I know a big mistake on my part. Now I don't know how to create an embryo from a few DNA samples, but I believe there are those who know how. By monitoring some frequencies, there's a large amount of data being sent from Zeta Cluster. My guess is that there's a backup of the original Miro operating system. Okay. So find the transmission origin Zeta Cluster. So I've got to get 10,000 data, go to Zeta Cluster. That's going to a little bit. I'll just poke around on planets, gathering resources, and stuff like that. And that's going to take a while. So, barring the computer that, or whatever, telling me more stuff, just all over the place, this is probably going to be fairly uneventful gathering data. For a bit, I'm going to just cut here. I'm going to end this episode here, and probably I'll do some gathering off camera. Next episode, we'll go to Zeta and see if we can finish up this game. Sounds like we're getting close to an end. Could be wrong, hard to say. Could be we're about to hit a weird twist in the story for all I know. But for now, we made some major progress. That was a lot of lore dumping. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like, hit subscribe to keep up with the releases if you're new here and haven't done so already. Have a great night, everyone. Bye!